We are just days away from SummerSlam 2016. What's up, everyone? GoodMicWork back at you. Here to give a quick review on the Go Home SmackDown as well as my full SummerSlam predictions. And just as I'm recording this commentary, we have some breaking news in WWE as well. So let's get right into things here and start with SmackDown. I'm going to kind of bounce all over the place. The show wasn't great, I will fully admit that, but I do think it was better than Raw. And I did like what they did in their major storylines leading up to SummerSlam. I think their build was a little bit better, and I really liked the main event. So let's talk about that first, since that's what our breaking news has to deal with as well. So the main event of SmackDown was John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. To the best of my knowledge, John Cena has never gotten his victory back from losing to Del Rio clean way back in October, I think Hell in the Cell, right before John Cena left. I could be wrong on that. They might have faced on a previous SmackDown weeks or months ago or something like that, but not that I can remember. But I thought that was a pretty good main event match to have, and the match went pretty long, too. It wasn't like John Cena went out there and squashed and buried Del Rio, like I thought he would. Whenever John Cena got his revenge for that Hell in the Cell loss, I thought he'd go out there and beat an AA and pin Del Rio within like 5 minutes. But they had a nice long match, which spanned a commercial break. AJ Styles is out on commentary. And basically the ending saw John Cena AA and pin Alberto Del Rio for the victory. AJ jumps off headset, not surprisingly, and nails John Cena with a phenomenal forearm and goes on to cut a fantastic promo kneeling over a laid-out Cena, which was great. And I actually thought that was the way the show was going to go off the air. AJ Styles is leaving the ring, and he wants some more. He can't get enough, so he runs back in there to attack John Cena some more. John catches him, nails him with the AA, and then proceeds to drag AJ Styles outside of the ring. He tears apart the announce desk, gets the steel steps, picks up AJ on top of the steps in AA position, and throws him right through the table with the show closing. I thought it was a great ending, and when I think about the outcome that I want to see happen in this match at SummerSlam, I'm kind of happy with what I saw tonight. So we'll talk about the SummerSlam match and my prediction later on when I get into those, but as far as the main event segment for SmackDown, I thought it was very good. I am very, very impressed with AJ Styles. Now, I've watched AJ work for 15 years, but, you know, like you guys know, I'm not a huge TNA fan. I don't watch a lot of independent stuff. I don't watch hardly any Japan. So whenever I see AJ over the years, it's always been just here or there. It's not been all the time. So for me to get a really good look at this guy and what he's actually capable of on the mic, I'm so glad WWE has the confidence in him and they believed in him enough to put him right at the top of the roster the minute he walked in the door. That's an incredible confidence that they have in him and that AJ has in himself. And the promos that he's done and the work he's done since he's gotten there with Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, and John Cena has been fantastic. Can't say enough good things about AJ Styles and the performance he's been giving since he's been in the WWE, and I cannot wait for this match. Now, as far as John Cena's opponent on SmackDown, that was, of course, Alberto Del Rio. It just broke minutes ago, right before I'm about to come up here and record this commentary, that Alberto Del Rio has been suspended by the WWE for his first ever wellness policy violation. So he's going to be on the shelf for 30 days. I guess it's his first one. I don't recall him ever getting one in his first stint in the WWE, although I could be wrong on that too. Also, at this time, I have no clue what he got caught taking. I have a feeling since Del Rio, these are not stories that we've heard from him before. Whatever this is, probably in the grand scheme of things, was very minor. Yes, I'm sure he broke a rule. He might have smoked some weed. He might have took an Adderall like Roman Reigns. But whatever it is, I seriously doubt that Del Rio is a piece of shit drug addict. This is not the 90s anymore. There's no more Scott Halls and Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angles walking around backstage. Everybody, for the most part, is relatively clean, it seems like. So I don't think this is a serious issue with Del Rio, but it's certainly not going to do him any favors as far as his career goes because he's been dead on arrival since the minute he walked in the company. I mean, he won the U.S. title and got put over in huge fashion when he came back beating John Cena, but it seemed like it was really all downhill from there. The League of Nations was a complete flop. He was embarrassed in his feud with Kalisto and hasn't really done anything since losing the U.S. title. So now that he's suspended, it's if he hadn't already fallen out of the good graces of the WWE, he probably really did now. So it'll be interesting to see how they use him when he comes back. Now, SmackDown tonight opened with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan backstage with Randy Orton. They're talking about his match with Brock at SummerSlam. They are approached by Heath Slater. Now, we saw what happened to poor Heath on Raw when he confronted Brock Lesnar. He shows up with like a fruit basket. He wants to apologize to Bryan and Shane for the problems he's caused in recent weeks, and then he even tosses an apple at Randy Orton. It just lands on his giant arm. That was pretty funny. Daniel Bryan and Shane eventually give him one final chance to get a SmackDown contract, and he has to defeat Randy Orton in a match. So later on, we got Randy Orton versus Heath Slater. As we expected, Heath Slater stood no chance in this match at all. However, Randy Orton just completely beats the hell out of him so badly that he ignores the referee's count to break, and the referee rings the bell and disqualifies Randy Orton, which throws him into a rage. He starts beating the shit out of Heath Slater some more, finally nailing the RKO. His music plays, and that's basically the final setup for Brock at SummerSlam. And I'm looking more and more forward to this match. And, you know, my heart is starting to get more and more behind Randy Orton. I cannot believe I'm saying that. Brock has been my number one guy forever, but I kind of want to see Randy win this match. So I'll talk about this match, like I said, later on when we get into my predictions. But what was funny about this is that after the match, they go backstage and show Heath Slater laying on the examination table in the doctor's room there. He's completely delirious and out of his mind. He thinks he won. He thinks he beat Randy Orton. He's approached by Shane and Daniel Bryan, who say to him, hey, guess what? You actually won that match against Randy Orton. And he's like, I knew it. I knew I kicked his ass. And so they said, technically, this gives you a contract. So they give him the contract, and then he starts to compliment Daniel Bryan. He thinks Daniel Bryan is Mick Foley. And he goes, Mick, I think your beard looks so much better now, and you're so much more respectable than that other GM they have over on SmackDown or whatever. And then he tells Shane that he looks beautiful tonight. He thinks Shane is Stephanie, so I got a little chuckle out of that. But it was enough to piss off Daniel Bryan and Shane enough to where, just as Heath is about to put pen to paper, they take the contract away from him, and poor Heath still does not have a contract on either show. So that's kind of a little entertaining segment. I mean, Heath is going back and forth, Raw and SmackDown, trying to get a job, and he's failing every time. The opening segment of SmackDown was a Miz TV episode, which Dean Ambrose comes out right away and interrupts The Miz. Before Dean Ambrose can get a word out, he's interrupted by Dolph Ziggler, so this is the final confrontation between the two, and I liked it. Dolph cut another pretty damn good promo, and he seemed really intense and really pissed, and he's screaming, and then bam, out of nowhere, he nails Dean Ambrose with a super kick, much like Shawn Michaels would do when he's cutting a promo, and then just kicks somebody's teeth down their throat before they even see it coming. It's too bad Randy Orton already has claimed the rights to that out-of-nowhere nickname. Otherwise, it would fit for Dolph as well. And I like what I've been seeing out of Dolph Ziggler. I really do. I think that this is going to extend beyond SummerSlam, and I think this can help evolve Dolph's character a little bit. I've been seeing signs of a heel turn in him, and I think that would be great, especially with the promos he's been cutting right now. And if he were to go heel and have that same attitude, I think that could be really good for him. And a lot of us have speculated on bringing in a bodyguard because there's the Diesel rumors. I still think putting a 55 or 60-year-old Kevin Nash with Dolph is a little bit ludicrous, but at the same time, why not do it? Everybody loves Kevin Nash. I'd love to see him come back and do a throwback gimmick, all that kind of stuff. And if you do have a bodyguard, you kind of have to be a heel because the point of having a bodyguard is to kind of get heat. So you can't really do that and pull it off well as a babyface. So Dolph going heel, I think, is a real possibility. So if he winds up losing to Dean at SummerSlam, maybe he gets pissed, he turns heel on SmackDown 2 nights later, and they build to another match at the next pay-per-view, which, I don't know, might be Backlash or whatever the fuck. Oh, incidentally, I didn't even mention, when Heath Slater was all out of his mind, he accidentally named the October pay-per-view. They're going back to the title of No Mercy and resurrecting that pay-per-view. So that'll be the next SmackDown brand pay-per-view in October, I guess. So maybe they build to another title match between the two at that pay-per-view or whatever. But Dolph going heel is something that I can really see happening. Now, Ambrose had to come back and work a match later on against Eric Rowan, and this was kind of interesting, too, because this match took place right after the Randy Orton-Heath Slater match. So as Randy Orton is leaving, Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan are entering the arena, and Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton kind of have a little bit of a stare down. So maybe this was just a way for WWE to tease us and make us think that anything can happen in that main event. I really, if it is the main event, that is, I really don't want to see any interference in this Orton and Lesnar match. I don't think it needs it for the first time ever. Their first encounter doesn't need a lot of bullshit. Maybe their second one does, or their third encounter does, but not the first one. So Bray Wyatt and everybody else, keep your fucking nose out of it, please. And another interesting part about this match is that after Ambrose was done defeating Eric Rowan, Bray Wyatt kind of abandons him and walks away in disgust. He takes the sheep's mask, he puts it in the rocking chair, and just walks away, leaving Eric Rowan in the ring. So it looks like they might be leading to a split of these two, because Luke Harper is still on the shelf. I still think he might be a ways off from returning at this point, so I was hoping to see the original Wyatt family reform on SmackDown. But if that's not going to happen, there's no point in Eric Rowan being associated with Bray Wyatt anymore. The Wyatt family is already disbanded, and Eric Rowan is a pretty weak WWE star. He loses every match that he's in. It's not doing Bray any good to hang around him anyway, so maybe they're gearing up for another singles push for Eric Rowan, but judging by how it worked out the last time, I don't see anything changing. But if Bray wants to be more on his own, I'm perfectly fine with that, so I hope that they do it. Pretty interesting, too, that Bray Wyatt is not booked for SummerSlam, is he? I mean, unless they throw something together last minute, but I don't think they will, so that really makes him a wild card in this thing, because he's been known to interfere in matches. He really doesn't even have a solid program with anybody right now. So he could appear in anything. You know, he could appear in a Raw match for all we know. But he could definitely crash the party with Brock and Orton. He could crash the party with Ambrose and Ziggler. He could crash the party with AJ Styles and John Cena. You know, any of those matches. So don't rule out Bray Wyatt affecting the SummerSlam card in some way. So I guess we'll see on Sunday. As far as what else we saw on SmackDown, not much else. Eva Marie, of course, had another match tonight. This time she was taking on Naomi, who came out in a new outfit and a new look and danced her way to the ring, and it looked really bizarre. But we were all wondering what Eva was going to do this week to not have to wrestle. So they went in a little bit of a cheap direction, not very creative this time around. But when Eva Marie is supposed to come out, the guy that does the voiceover in her entrance theme announces to the crowd that she is stuck in traffic. The ring announcer didn't announce this, the fucking Titantron did. So I found that to be a little bit ridiculous, but she was stuck in traffic and would be unable to make the match. Such a shame. They did a women's tag team match later on in which Eva Marie did appear, and it wound up setting up a 6-woman tag that was announced for SummerSlam. Becky, Naomi, and Carmella taking on Eva, Alexa Bliss, and Natty. So that's going to be something added to the SummerSlam card, and I'm not really into anything that the women are doing currently on SmackDown other than Eva Marie continuing to escape match after match. But apparently she finally will have her first match at SummerSlam, and I hope she wins, and I hope she gets the fucking pin. Baron Corbin and Kalisto continued their thing. Baron Corbin keeps bullying Kalisto backstage for whatever reason. Now, I don't see this match listed yet for SummerSlam. Of all the matches I have written down, I don't see this one. So I have a feeling this could be thrown together on the pre-show. So if we get Kalisto and Baron Corbin on the pre-show, don't be surprised. Also, the last thing I'll mention about SmackDown is I guess they're bringing back Curt Hawkins, has re-signed with the WWE, and they ran some vignettes for him tonight on Raw. And basically they're giving him like the Chuck Norris type of gimmick. They have all these funny sayings like Curt Hawkins counted to infinity twice and shit like that. My favorite one of these memes of Chuck Norris recently online that I saw on Twitter or something was that Chuck Norris caught all the Pokemon from a landline. That was pretty fucking hilarious. So this gimmick that Hawkins seems to have appears to be more comedy-based, but hey, I'm happy for him. He got a contract. He got a job out of it. Seems like a likable guy, works hard. I've seen a few of his shoot interviews since he left WWE a while back, and seems like a pretty straightforward, down-to-earth guy, and I'm happy for him. So welcome back, Curt Hawkins. All right, now it is time for SummerSlam predictions. I have, I think, 11 matches written down. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they added Kalisto and Baron Corbin to the pre-show. Probably even something with Golden Truth, or the Usos and the Dudleys and guys like that don't have matches either. So who knows what they're going to do on the pre-show. Apparently it is a 2-hour pre-show, so we have 6 hours of SummerSlam this Sunday. By the way, don't forget to join me live on Twitter during the entire show and pre-show. I'll be up tweeting live. You can talk to me, ask me questions. I'll try to do my best to respond. And I'll be up here all night. It should be a lot of fun. So regardless of what they announce for the pre-show, I don't have any matches for that, so there's nothing to predict. So all I'm going to do is predict the 11 main card matches. I can't imagine all 11 of these being on the main card, but I guess they are. So let's get right into it here and start with that match. Becky, Naomi, and Carmella versus Eva Marie, Alexa Bliss, and Natalya. I'm definitely picking the heel team, Eva Marie's team, and I think Eva should get the pin and the victory. So I'm predicting not only do they win, but Eva gets the pin. Sheamus versus Cesaro, match 1 of this best-of-7 series. Now, judging from what has happened between them in recent weeks, Cesaro has been winning those matches. I got to pick Sheamus. I mean, if Cesaro wins again, who's to say he's just not going to sweep Sheamus? So I'm going to pick Sheamus in this match somehow to defeat Cesaro and take a 1-0 lead. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens taking on Cass and Enzo. As much as I love Jericho and Owens, and as much as I love Owens, and I want him to be a world champion one day, I think in this particular match, you know, with him and Jericho together, they can easily tease some dissension, some miscommunication, and Enzo and Cass, I think, should pick up the victory against these two. They can easily do it where it's not going to hurt Owens at all, or Jericho, and Jericho doesn't give a shit anyway. And I think the two of them, Owens and Jericho, could potentially feud in upcoming weeks and months. So I'm picking Enzo and Cass to win this thing due to a little bit of a miscommunication maybe between Owens and Jericho. WWE Tag Team titles on the line, The New Day versus The Club. Now, there is still no Big E. I mentioned in my Raw review that I speculated at a Big E heel turn, and I really have trouble seeing how that could happen, but part of me just kind of thinks that it will. And I've been saying all along that the Club, I think, will be the team to take the belts off of the New Day, and I'm almost certain that the Club will win these tag team titles at SummerSlam. But then again, they could go with a nice swerve. I've been talking about Big E making an appearance and turning heel. Well, who's to say Big E can't just make an appearance and stay babyface and help the New Day win? Maybe he comes out when everybody thinks he's at home selling the injury, and he shows up and nails the Club with a chair or something like that, or interferes or basically costs them the match, and the New Day actually retains and lives to fight another day, and perhaps drops them to the Club at the next pay-per-view. So part of me thinks we could see that as well, but I think I'm going to stick to my original prediction. As much as I'm almost starting to lean back towards the New Day now, I'm going to stick with my prediction of Gallows and Anderson becoming the new WWE Tag Team Champions. So I'm picking the Club. Intercontinental title on the line. Champion The Miz taking on Apollo Crews. This is a match that I care very, very little about, and I think since I care so little about it and most everybody else doesn't care about it either, it would make no sense to put the belt on Apollo Crews in this particular situation. I don't like it when they just slap a belt on a guy, slap a belt on a newcomer to maybe try to get him over, and I don't like to see the Intercontinental title used in that way. And since this is kind of a forgettable match anyway in the middle of a huge card with some really loaded matches, I think an Intercontinental title victory here at this pay-per-view by Apollo Crews would go lost in the grand scheme of things and in the shuffle. So I want to see The Miz keep it. He's great with Maurice. They've got a great character presentation right now. I love everything they do, and I almost died last week on SmackDown when they were laying on their stomachs on top of Renee Young's table and making out. That was great. WWE Women's title on the line. Champion Sasha Banks taking on Charlotte. Dana Brooke is banned from ringside. Sasha just won this belt in pretty epic fashion on Monday Night Raw a few weeks back. I don't see Charlotte getting it back right yet, and I think Sasha's reign will continue, and I'm picking Sasha Banks to win. How she does, I don't know. I don't know if she'll straight up tap out Charlotte. She very well may. Either way, I can't really envision Charlotte getting the belt back this quick at SummerSlam, so yeah, I'm picking Sasha easily. AJ Styles versus John Cena. This is a match that I'm really looking forward to on SummerSlam. Now, I've been saying all along in recent commentaries that I'm expecting John Cena to win this match because AJ's already won a couple of times. He's been very strong in his feud with Cena. He's been cutting great promos. He's been laying Cena out a lot. And I think the program between the two is not only going very well, but will also not end at SummerSlam. So I was kind of thinking that Cena would win this match, but now I'm kind of changing my tune. I am actually going to pick that John Cena's SummerSlam losing streak continues, and he drops another one, I believe the 6th SummerSlam in a row. I'm predicting him to lose to AJ Styles, especially after what we saw on SmackDown with John Cena AAing AJ through the announce table. So it's one of those situations where at the end of the day, I really don't give a shit who wins. If John Cena wins, I know a lot of fans are going to freak out and think AJ was buried, but I can't concern myself with that sort of idiocracy. That is just flat out not true. So if John Cena winds up beating AJ Styles, fine. I got no problem with that at all. They'll probably wrestle again, but I am starting to think now that AJ Styles actually wins this match. This is a big match for him. Second biggest pay-per-view of the year. He's only been in WWE for 8 months. He's in his late 30s. The WWE wants to get the value out of AJ that they can while they can before he gets too old, before he gets injured. All of those things are factoring in my decision here, and I think this is a match that AJ Styles should win. He should defeat John Cena, and he should do it clean. If he doesn't, fine, I don't care either way, but if he does it clean, that could be a huge statement for AJ Styles and for the new era and everything going on with WWE right now. So they need to make stars. They have 2 shows now. So seeing AJ Styles, in such a big match and potentially getting a victory, Finn Balor later on, the same thing. I think it's a victory for AJ that's not necessarily necessary. Like, he doesn't have to win this for his career to be successful in the WWE, but I don't think it would hurt that much either and would do an awful lot for the legacy of AJ Styles in the WWE that they're trying to build, because who knows how long that window will last. AJ Styles cannot be delivering phenomenal forearms when he's 50, okay? He's into the twilight of his career here, and he's still performing, like he did 15 years ago. The guy's amazing. So I have the utmost confidence in AJ Styles for having a pretty good, long, lengthy run in the WWE, but at the same time, nothing lasts forever. So strike while the iron's hot, give AJ this victory, and put him on a collision course, possibly to feud for the WWE title when Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler have wrapped up their business. You combine that with the possibility of John Cena doing other projects. I know he's got that TV show or the True Grit or whatever the hell else he's doing. He's got appearances out the ass, even though he wants to stick around in the WWE, and he keeps saying that he loves it here. At the same time, he's also off on the road every single fucking day doing appearances and Make-A-Wishes and interviews and TV shows and other stuff constantly. So he might say he loves the WWE and he's never going to leave, but he loves everything else too. So I think when you look at the big picture here, it seems like AJ Styles winning this match would make the most sense. So I'm picking AJ Styles. Roman Reigns versus Rusev for the U.S. title. I am a lot less interested in this match than I was a week ago because they just gave it to us on Monday Night Raw in the main event in a segment that got horrible ratings, by the way. For some reason. I like Rusev. I think the guy's money. But his feud with Roman Reigns, people just fucking hate Roman Reigns. They don't give a shit about Roman Reigns. So whatever happens at the pay-per-view, I hope that Rusev retains the title. It's going to be hard to predict a flat-out winner here. Now, Roman Reigns beat Rusev pretty much clean on Monday Night Raw. So that's really making me think that Rusev will hold on to the belt, but I don't know if that necessarily means he's going to put Roman in the accolade and Roman taps out. This is a match where I think I'm going to have it half right and half wrong. I'm going to predict Rusev to win and retain the title, but what I think they might do is have Roman Reigns win via disqualification or something like that, which you know what that means. This feud won't be over. And I don't know if I want to see these guys work the next two pay-per-views together for the U.S. belt. So the way things are going right now, the momentum that Rusev has with that U.S. belt and the job he's doing with this title reign, keep it on him. I'm not going to complain, bitch and moan and cry if Roman Reigns walks out of SummerSlam with the U.S. title, but if it was up to me, I'd prefer them keep it on Rusev. So I'm going to predict Rusev. WWE title match, Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose. Now, I have a really hard time picking Dolph Ziggler in this match, so I am not going to. I'm going to pick Dean Ambrose. Now, what I talked about earlier on with Dolph Ziggler and him potentially maybe going heel, maybe Dean Ambrose wins this match at SummerSlam, and then the next night on SmackDown, or on Tuesday on SmackDown, Dolph gets pissed off and ends up going heel. It's possible that his bodyguard, if he does have one, could debut at SummerSlam and cost Dean Ambrose the title, but with everything else going on at SummerSlam and us already crowning a new champion at this show as it is with Finn Balor and Seth, I think a WWE title change would, like I said, it would be diminished, or it would be forgotten about, or it would be lost in the shuffle kind of thing. So I think one way or the other, Dean Ambrose is going to keep it, but this feud is nowhere near being over. I think Dolph and Dean work again, and that's where I can see the potential Dolph Ziggler heel turn is in a couple of weeks. Potentially with a bodyguard, maybe not, who knows. Either way, I think Dolph, if he wants to resurrect his career, should go heel. If he wants to emulate Shawn Michaels and do everything Shawn did, Shawn made a pretty damn good heel too and cut some pretty scathing promos from time to time, which is what Dolph Ziggler is trying to do. You add a bodyguard into that mix and get some heat, Dolph could be a successful heel, and he's back in the main event picture. So, and then after that, maybe he could get the belt. Maybe they could put it on Dolph Ziggler. I doubt it. I kind of think they're holding it for AJ Styles in the future, but, you know, if there's time, fuck it, put it on Dolph. But as far as SummerSlam goes, I think Dean double-arm DDTs him and pins him for the win. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the brand new WWE Universal Championship. We finally get a look at this belt, and I'm ready to see what the damn thing looks like. Been a lot of speculation over the past week or so from people about who should win this match and all of that. I just wish we could go back to the old days as you see two guys and you look at one and you look at the other one and you decide which one you like better and you root for that person instead of overanalyzing everything. This guy should win this match because these reasons, and this guy should win this match because these reasons. And I can't believe how many people have told me, people that I thought were Seth Rollins fans. I thought we all were, right? Seth is awesome. There are so many people that actually believe that if Finn Balor does not win this match, that it just kills his momentum. He just got there. He defeated clean Roman Reigns, the guy that is supposed to be the next John Cena. The guy could not have been put on the map any higher than he was. He was like Raw's third draft pick, for fuck's sake, coming right on at NXT. If you ask me, they're almost pushing him too fast. I mean, don't you think this is crazy? The last guy, if he winds up winning this belt, the last guy to really do that would probably be Hulk Hogan when he came in at the end of 1983, right before the year ended. And then by January 23rd, 1984, 25 days later, he's defeating the Iron Sheik for the WWE title. He's the only other guy I can think of that came in and then a month later became champion. Brock Lesnar didn't even fucking do that. So I don't know where people get these ideas that Finn Balor is going to be What is the deal with these words? It's like the fans use these words and this wrestling terminology without examining what they actually mean. Somebody on my YouTube video the other day made a comment that Finn Balor is vanilla. Do you even know what that fucking means? The last thing in the world Finn Balor is vanilla. That would be like using the 50-50 booking analogy to describe John Cena's push over the past 15 years. I am all for Finn Balor winning this belt. I have no problem with that at all. If he does, great. I'm a big Finn Balor fan. I love his character. I love the whole thing. So I'm not saying I don't want Finn Balor to win, but this idea that if he doesn't win, that his career is fucked, get your head out of your ass. I'm actually predicting Seth Rollins to win this match because I said in my recent commentaries that I think he is the more deserved guy. I mean, Finn Balor has got a long career ahead of him. He's going to be wrestling in the WWE potentially for 10 or maybe even 20 years if he's lucky. He does not need to win the belt 30 days after he gets there. It's not completely necessary for him. So if Seth Rollins winds up winning, Finn Balor's going to be fine. Look at what's happened in this build to this match. You mean to tell me that Finn Balor is going to get the best of Seth Rollins in every single interaction they've had on Raw leading up to this match, and then he's also going to defeat Seth in the match? I mean, do you really see that happening either? Wouldn't you think that would be shitting on Seth a little bit? I would think so. I mean, when you look at what these two guys have been doing on Monday Night Raw, Finn Balor has been owning Seth Rollins. So you think that Seth has got to win this match, and I'm predicting him to be the first ever Universal Champion. I think it'll be great for his legacy to hear him brag about being the first ever NXT Champion and the first ever Universal Champion for the rest of his career is going to be incredibly fun. He's going to make it fun because you know he's never going to shut the fuck up about it, especially when he's a heel. And just like the Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose situation, this is not over at SummerSlam. Wrestling fans and their short-term fucking memory and attention span. Jesus. This feud is not over. They're going to work the next pay-per-view. They're going to be all over Raw together and in matches together and in tag matches together. The feud will continue. So Seth Rollins winning the belt does not kill Finn Balor. Finn Balor's going to get another shot at the title. I mean, basically, if you factor in the rematch clause stipulation that they do, that all former champions get, rematches or whatever, wouldn't you think that whoever loses this match automatically gets a rematch because, neither guy was champion, so one guy had to lose and they should have a rematch. So no matter what happens, whether Finn walks out of there with that belt or Seth walks out of there with that belt, they will work again. I think Seth Rollins takes the belt first. I'm predicting Seth Rollins to beat Finn Balor, possibly with some help. It's not out of the question that there could be interference in this match. I don't know who would interfere. A lot of people have been talking about the Balor Club with Gallows and Anderson. I don't know if SummerSlam would be the place to debut that faction, although it would be cool if earlier on in the night Gallows and Anderson won the tag belts and then they came out and helped Finn Balor beat Seth Rollins and then all three of them are champions. That would be pretty awesome, and it could even possibly turn Seth babyface. What if you did a double turn? What if they threw a swerve at us or something like that? That would be great. What if that same scenario that I just described happened with Gallows and Anderson and Balor, and then they're all heels, and then Seth is a babyface, and then he goes on a babyface track all the way to WrestleMania to potentially curb stomp and pin Brock Lesnar in the main event. So I think when you look at this match, the options are good either way here. I don't know why fans get so upset, and I'm worried that it's going to ruin SummerSlam for a lot of people because they're going to be so concerned with who goes over, and if Finn doesn't win, they're going to think that WWE's fucking everything up. I think that's crazy to base your thinking like that. This is going to be a great match. This is going to be fun. We should be happy that Finn Balor, one of our favorite NXT guys, has not only come up to the main roster, but been pushed right to the top of the card. Don't ruin it for yourselves by being crazy and worrying that if Finn Balor doesn't win, he might as well just retire. That's insane. I think there's a lot of possibilities for the outcome of this match. I think it could go a lot of different ways, and I think all of us should be able to be happy with whatever outcome they choose, and regardless of what happens in this match. This is one of those very rare occurrences in my mind where the wrestling fans should consider themselves lucky, because no matter who wins, we should win as fans, because we're going to get a great match and we're about to get a great program between these two, and I think we should all sit back and enjoy it and stop being psychos. So Seth, you're my man. Good luck this Sunday, and I'm picking you to be the first ever Universal Champion. I'm hoping Seth Rollins and Finn Balor is the main event. That's what they should do. If not, it probably will go to Orton and Lesnar. Which, if they do, it's fine. It's fine with me. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to question it. Whatever. I don't mind when there's a big-time match like this, it being moved to the top. Orton and Lesnar, basically the first time they've wrestled in 15 years. That match on SmackDown doesn't count, in my opinion. And it's a match that I'm really excited to see. I've enjoyed the build. I've enjoyed the work from Randy Orton. And the more I've been thinking about this match and who's going to win, I think this is a really good opportunity for Randy Orton to turn back into that feared competitor, somebody that actually strikes fear in their opponent, especially when his music hits, and being that killer. He used to be that way, sort of. And if Randy Orton can go into SummerSlam and knock off Brock Lesnar, that would do unbelievable things for Randy Orton. Now, you also have to think about all these other factors. Brock Lesnar has the controversy surrounding him in UFC. We don't know how much time is left on his contract or if he's going to stick around after that. WWE might want to start, having him lose here or there. And he's never given back that clean victory yet since he beat the streak. He's been on such a roll. I was kind of hoping that he would put over someone like Seth Rollins eventually at a WrestleMania in the future or whatever, but with this match with Randy Orton, provided there's no interference, which there could be, I don't think this match needs it, but we could see Bray Wyatt. We could even see Goldberg. There's been a lot of Goldberg rumors. Apparently he's even going to be in the New York area during SummerSlam weekend. And of course the video game commercial with him driving in the cop car in Suplex City, reflecting in the mirror or whatever. That was all potential teases to what we could see between Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg. I can't imagine Goldberg coming back. Isn't he like 50 years old? What kind of shape could he potentially be in? I know he keeps himself in good shape, but, the guy was never great in the ring even in his prime. What's he going to be like now? How good can a Brock Lesnar versus Bill Goldberg match be in 2016? The one 12 years ago sucked. So maybe this is something they're going to build to and hold off to WrestleMania. Maybe we get the big WrestleMania Goldberg-Brock rematch that we've always wanted, and SummerSlam kicks that off. Goldberg interferes, comes through the crowd, spears Brock Lesnar, allowing Randy Orton to get the pin, and kicking off a feud between Brock and Goldberg. I, to be honest with you, don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see Goldberg come in and get the big match with Brock. They've got a whole roster there full of great people. You think of guys like Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Kevin Owens, so many amazing talents they have there that I think could potentially beat Brock Lesnar in the future. Don't waste it on Goldberg. But at the same time, it would be a pretty big mark-out moment. I think a lot of fans would get a kick out of seeing Goldberg again. But I'm hoping nobody interrupts. I hope Bray Wyatt and Goldberg both keep their noses out of it. Brock and Orton are allowed to have their match. We know we're going to get an F5 kick out. We know we're going to get an RKO kick out. Now, Randy Orton's been saying time and time again that Brock can suplex me from one end of that ring to the other. It only takes one RKO to be taken to Viperville. So he's saying if he hits Brock one time, he's going to beat him. I don't think so. Brock's probably going to kick out of one, potentially two RKOs. So maybe Randy Orton finally hits him with a third one and is able to get the pin. And if he does, Randy Orton's going to be staying on TV where Brock is going to be leaving. And if Randy Orton is able to defeat Brock Lesnar, then all of that Brock momentum, all of that star power that Brock Lesnar has, a little bit of that gets transferred over to Randy Orton, and you can have another Brock Lesnar type of guy on your roster in a more full-time basis, because Orton basically works in every show provided he's healthy. So much like the match with John Cena and AJ Styles, the more and more I think about it, I think the best option is to have Randy Orton win. So I'm actually going to pick Randy Orton to defeat Brock Lesnar this Sunday at SummerSlam. I don't know how. I don't know how many RKOs it's going to take. I don't know if anybody's going to interfere or anything like that. I don't know if it's going to be clean. Who knows? At the end of the day, I say Randy Orton hits the RKO and gets the pin. And that's actually what I'm hoping happens, honestly. I think it's a move that needs to be made. I'm a big fan. I've always had Randy Orton's back. I've said that many, many times. A lot of people don't like Randy Orton, but I think he's a great worker. He's very smooth. He's very talented. He's very good. He's good on the mic when he wants to be. I know he's had some wellness policy issues himself. He's been suspended multiple times, once for even 60 days a few years back. So it's not like Randy Orton is an angel, but when you look at the situation the WWE is in right now, I think it makes the most sense for Orton to pick up this victory. So Randy Orton, you're my man. Good luck to you, and good luck defeating the Beast at SummerSlam. So there you go. Those are my predictions. Let me know what you agree and disagree with. Like I said, join me live on Twitter. I'll be here all day, and I will be up as quickly as I can after the show, hopefully within 2 to 3 hours at the most, with a complete results and reaction video on SummerSlam. So you guys take care. Enjoy SummerSlam weekend. If you heard my previous commentary, I did let you know that I will not be home to watch NXT TakeOver from Brooklyn, and even after I watch the replay, I will not have time to get a review up of it before SummerSlam. There's just not enough time for me to do that because I have to work during all this stuff. So I will talk about NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in my SummerSlam reactions video on Sunday night. So you guys have a great rest of your week. Enjoy SummerSlam, and I will talk to you in just a few days. Until then, peace.